Hey guys! So, I'm trying to do something consistent for once in my life, so we're gonna see how this goes. But I'm taking a YA literature class this semester where I have to read a total of 27 books. So, my idea that maybe I'll be able to do is that I'm gonna try to do a review on each book that I read since I'm going to be doing a significant amount of reading this semester. Hopefully I'll be able to have some interesting material out of it. So that this video is going to be me showing you all the books that I have to read for this class. It's a lot. I have all my books except for one of them, which is The Great Gatsby, which I actually have in my apartment at school. So I already have it, I just don't have it with me because I didn't think I would need it for this class. But it's up there, so. Alright, so first I want to show you what I'm reading right now. Right now I'm reading The Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I'm really liking it. I saw the movie first. I try not to do that usually, but it happened and I'm really liking it so far, so maybe I'll do a review on it when I finish reading it. We'll see. Now, oh, you can actually see it. I've got a giant stack of books over here. So let's get into it. So the first book, this isn't in any order or anything. The first book is Athletic Shorts by Chris Crutcher. So this is actually 6 short stories all about like sports and athletes, which is why it's called Athletic Shorts. Like I thought it was like because of like, you know, the title was referring to actual like athletic shorts, but no, it's short stories about sports. Now, these are all the short stories are about like characters or like about from this author's like other books, which I have not read anything by this author, and I don't really think I'm going to like this that much just because I'm not really into sports that I don't do myself, which are swimming, volleyball, dance, and marching band. And this like looks like, well, I mean, this picture just reminds me of like basketball, but I think one of these might be about like running. I'm not really sure. I don't really think I'm going to like it, but it's a short book. It's very small, less than 200 pages. The stories themselves range from like 18 to like 25 pages long. So hopefully it'll be a quick read, but I just don't think I'm going to like it very much. Yeah, that's the first book. The next one is Saints and Misfits by S.K. Ali. I know that it's about a girl who is Muslim, but I don't really know anything else about it. It looks really interesting. I think I might like it, so we'll see. I like the cover. It's very pretty. Oh, and some of these books were required by my class, and then some of them are like 12 books of my choosing, and I took it as probably books that I haven't read before. So the next one is People Like Us by Dana Mealy, I don't know how to say. This one is one of the ones that I got to choose, and this is the only one that I actually bought of the books that I've, like, of choosing myself. Like, I bought all the ones that are required, but and I picked this one because while I was buying the other books, this one came up in the recommended, and, like, the little blurb about it, like, described it as being, like, Riverdale, so I was like, okay. I know that it's, like, about, I don't know if this is a boarding school or if it's just a private school, but, like, it's about how, like, a girl, like, died, and she's, like, but, like, the main character is receiving, like, emails and, like, scavenger, like, clues or something. So, yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm excited to read this one. Obviously, I chose it myself. Okay, this one is required. It's Cinder by Marissa Meyer. So I've never read these books before, and they're, like, really popular, so I don't know why I haven't, honestly, but whatever. So I'm sure most people, if you are a book lover, have heard of this, book series, The Lunar Chronicles. So if I like it, like maybe I'll like read the rest of the series. We'll see. But it's basically just Cinderella, but like cyborg. Like, yeah. So the next book is Mexican White Boy by Matt de la Pena. I know it's about this kid who's like half Mexican, half white, and I know he lives in San Diego. That's about all I know. I don't really know how I'm gonna feel about this one. I don't really like books from where the main protagonist is a male protagonist. That's just me. Especially YA books. That's just a personal preference. But we'll see. The next one that's required is Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. She's a Lithuanian author. It's about like a shipwreck. I don't know if it's real or not. If it was like a real shipwreck. Because it says that it was a tragedy that was 6 times deadlier than the Titanic. But I don't know if it actually happened or not. I guess I'll have to research that. So, yeah. This next one is one that I chose myself, and it's called Mirror in the Sky by Aditi Khorana. I bought this one like last year and just hadn't read it, so I'm going to use it for class. This next one is I chose myself. It's The May Queen Murders by Sarah Jude. This one. Oh, God. So Mirror in the Sky, it's kind of about, like, they discovered, like, an alternate, like, Earth or something. And, like, everybody has, like, an alternate version of themselves. It's basically just, like, an alternate universe. And this one about a girl who goes missing in, like, this really small town. Okay. Next one is Confessions of an Angry Girl by Louise Rosette. I've actually had this one for a few years and just haven't read it yet. It's just about, like, I don't really know exactly what it's about, but it's about, like, a girl. She, like, calls herself, like, angry. She really likes vocabulary, so she likes using, like, really big words. And she's basically just angry all the time, and she kissed this one guy who's dating this cheerleader, so, like, that's a problem, I guess. I don't know. Next one, I chose myself. It's called Deep Blue by Jennifer Donnelly. It's about a mermaid princess who, like, has to go on an undersea adventure or something. This is the first YA book I've read, where I'm pretty sure the whole book is going to take place, like, in, like, the specific fantasy world, because most of the time, like, in a fantasy book that has, like, its own world, like, they're, like, most of the time in, like, the human world, and sometimes they're in, like, the other world, if they have another world. So this will be the first one, because I'm pretty sure they're probably mostly going to be underwater. This will be, like, the first one that I read where they're mostly in the fantasy world. So this next one is Missing at 17 by Kristen Conrad. It's just about, I'm not super sure, because you would assume it means that she's missing, but I'm not really sure. This next one is one that I bought myself, or chose myself, and it's called Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. And it's about, like, a girl who didn't get into the art school that she wanted to go to, so she goes on a road trip with her best friend, or her childhood best friend. I just love the cover. The cover is so pretty. It's purple and there's, like, stars and there's fish. Okay, this next one is The Gospel According to Larry by Janet Tashjian. This one seems really interesting because it kind of reminds me of another book called Kiss and Blog, because The Gospel According to Larry is a blog. And the book Kiss and Blog by Alison Noel, who's one of my favorite authors, like, she has a blog, and it kind of just reminds me of that, so I think I'll like it just because it seems similar to the other one. It just seems really interesting. This next one is Orleans by Sherry L. Smith. This one seems like it's going to be dystopian because it's about all these hurricanes, like, pretty much devastating New Orleans. Although I don't think in the book they actually call it New Orleans, because on the back of the book they always just call it the Delta. But it just seems very dystopian. Like the cover looks dystopian. Like it has all these hurricanes. So, okay, so this next one is one that I've already read, but I'm going to use it for this class, and it's called Time Between Us by Tamara Ireland Stone. It's about this guy who can time travel, and he time travels back to 1995 because his sister got lost in time. And he's from like 2012, and just sometimes he gets like snapped back to like his time. So the next one is the other one that I've already read, but I'm going to reread for this class, and it's 10 Things We Did and Probably Shouldn't Have by Sarah Milanowski. It's about this girl whose dad like leaves like to go on like some kind of like business trip for like a couple of months, and she convinces him to let her live with her best friend, even though her best friend's mom also isn't like living with her. So it's like they're living alone in their house, and like they break all these rules and get into a ton of trouble, basically. Okay, this next one is one that I chose but haven't read. It's called Imposter by Suzanne Winokur. It's about this girl who can like absorb DNA, and she can like change her appearance, and she like works for the FBI, and she like goes undercover and stuff. Yeah. This next one I chose myself. It's Unrivaled by Alyson Noel, which is my favorite author. I've had this for a while, and I read like a couple chapters, I think, but haven't finished it, so I'm going to read it for this class. It's from the Beautiful Idols series. Okay, the next one is My Most Excellent Year by Steve Kluger. This one I'm kind of interested in, but it does have a male protagonist, so we'll see, I guess. But it looks like it's going to be interesting, so I hope I'll like it. This next one is Mockingbird by Katherine Erskine. This one I'm not super, like, don't think I'll like it that much. I'm a little concerned about it because the protagonist is a 10-year-old girl, so she's, like, pretty young. So I don't really know how I feel about that. But you can't really see it's reflecting off the computer. Yeah, so I guess we'll see about that one. This next one is The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. See, this one I'm iffy about because you could obviously tell, like, it's about basketball, right? So I didn't really think I would like it, but the story itself seems pretty interesting, and the story is told entirely through poems. So it kind of reminds me of that series of books. I don't know, like, what any of the books are called or who the author is. But the most popular one, I think, was called Crank, and they were about, like, drugs and, like, sex and alcohol and all that stuff. I'm sure if you're a book lover, you know what I'm talking about. I never read those. I wasn't really into it, but it reminds me of that. So we'll see how that goes, I guess. This next one is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. This one I've owned for a while. I bought it because the author is Lithuanian, and it takes place in Lithuania because I am Lithuanian. So I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. So yeah, I'm going to read Between. This is the one that I chose myself, and I knew I could use it for this class because we're reading another book by Ruta Sepetys. So I was like, yes. So Between Shades of Grey. This next one I really don't think I'm going to like. It's called Bomb by Steve Sheinkin. And it's about, like, the atomic bomb and, like, discovering it and, like, creating it during World War II. And it's very historical. Like, I don't, like, it's, like, a historical, like, fiction. Like, it's, like, telling you the story. But, like, I don't know if I'm gonna really like this that much. I'm not really into, like, bombs and, like, planes and war and battles and all that, and it has like all these like historical like pictures and stuff. Like, it seems like really interesting if I was like wanting to like specifically learn about like the atomic bomb, then maybe, but like I'm just not about that, and like this title just, or this cover just doesn't look interesting to me, so I don't know. Alright, this last one is 3. It's called March. It's by John Lewis, and it's a trilogy. There's 3 books, and it's actually a trilogy of graphic novels. you can see. And I'm not really sure how I feel about this because, number one, I don't really read graphic novels. I mean, like, I read manga. Like, you can see that, right? I don't really read graphic novels. But this is also John Lewis. He was or is a congressman. And it's about, like, it's his retelling of the civil rights movement. And I'm not really sure if I'm gonna like it or not because the civil rights movement like just isn't one of the eras of history that I'm like really interested in. And yeah, so I guess we'll see. And you can tell that it's really political, like if you just look at it. Like this one has like Martin Luther King like on the cover. This one has like a protest with like the police. So I guess we'll see. Like, hopefully I'll be able to get through them pretty quick because you can read comic books and, like, graphic novels and manga, like, pretty quickly compared to, like, normal books. But I guess I'm just not sure if I'll like it. Because not only is it a graphic novel, but it's also about something that I'm not super interested in. Alright, and those are all the books that I have to read for my YA class. So hopefully I'll be able to get these reviews out in the next few months. So let's see how that goes, I guess. Wish me luck. Bye.